Many of us cried or felt sad when we were younger because we felt like we didn't have anyone there for us. We felt like we didn't have much guidance. We felt like we didn't have loving relationships. We felt like we just didn't have many people in our life that really took the time or really were able to understand us, only to become those same exact adults. Now that we are adults, we don't take time to actually process our emotions to figure out what we are going through. Now that we are adults, we not take time to learn new things to help give us more guidance. Now that we are adults, we literally do not take the time to build a relationship with ourselves. The same relationship that as a child, we hopefully wish that someone would build with us. And that is not fair. So in this video, that's what I want to talk to you about. Being there for yourself, learning how to love yourself, learning how to care for yourself, learning how to be that person that you wish you had when you were younger. So let's talk about it. And in this video, I also will share some techniques and just different things you can think about doing to help you do that. Disclaimer, I'm not going to talk about why you don't have a relationship with yourself. I already have a video about that, which I can link to the end of this video. I'm just going to teach you how to do that. The first thing I want you to do is realize in your life, where are you being more privately loyal than you are publicly loyal? I want you to think about it like this. Imagine if you had a friend, right? And in public, when you guys are together, things happen. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't stand up for you. She's not there for you. But then soon as the doors close, y'all get in a car, y'all get back in the house. She's like, oh my gosh, why did that person say that to you? Oh my gosh, why did that girl do that? Oh my gosh. And it's kind of like, well, when you were there, you didn't say anything. You could have said this when you were there, but you waited until we got into private to show your loyalty, your frustration, your all these things. And if someone keep doing that, wouldn't you say that's not a good friend? Because in private, she's showing all this loyalty, but in public, she's acting scared like, are you really my friend? A lot of people don't realize they do that to themselves all the time. Think about how many times in life, and this could be in relationships that you have with people, but then also literally just with yourself. With people, it can be a situation of there's someone that you're around that when you're not around them, you're just thinking, why did she do this? Why did she do that? Why did she say that? Was she trying to be funny? Was she this? Was she that? You feeling all these emotions about an individual, but then when you are in public with that individual, you never say nothing. You never say how you feel. You're never publicly out there for yourself and loyal to yourself. Or this can be something inner. Let's say you're like, okay, this is something that I want to do publicly, right? Because honestly, inner work is great, but I think the only way to really change your life is if you publicly, outwardly do things. So it's easy to be like, yeah, I really want to be a content creator, but I don't know what to post. You're afraid to post publicly, so you never post. But privately, you're sitting here saying, if I was a content creator, this would change and possibly it would help with this, and I really want to do that. Or maybe you're already a content creator and you're like, I kind of want to change my content, but I don't know what to do. Or possibly you want to change your career field, or possibly you want to move somewhere else. It's so easy when it's late at night for you to be in your bed thinking about this. It's so easy for you to write in your journal and say all these things that you want to do, and you feel like, yeah, I'm building this relationship with myself. Like I'm expressing myself. I'm letting myself out. But then when the next day rolls around, but then when it's time to wake up, but then when it's time to post, you don't do nothing because you are not publicly loyal to yourself. And I think that is one thing that people need to start realizing in their lives. Where in your life are you more privately loyal to yourself? What are the things that you dwell upon and you think upon, and they take up so much time and they take up so much energy, and they literally, the crazy part is a lot of this stuff to start will literally take 5 minutes. Like to start the process of doing something, to post on social media, to start going to school, to, say something to somebody. It literally takes 5 minutes to start, to fill out that online application, to start up a conversation. Hey, I just want to talk to you. I don't know if there's anything going on between us, but I just feel like to start, how the thing is going to end, that's just going to be how it's going to be. But I think it's a lot better, and I think you will have a lot better relationship with yourself if when you are behind closed doors, if when you are privately by yourself, you can have that same amount of strong loyalty that you have when you are in front of individuals and when you are confronting a lot of your problems. Now, the next thing I want you to start doing is comparing yourself to a character in a movie or a TV show. And the reason why I want you to start doing this is because I want you to take yourself out of yourself to start thinking about yourself. And I'm going to explain this a little bit more. So you can think of any character. It can be a animated character, a cartoon, or it can be a live action character from a TV or a movie. And I want you to think about your life like this. And it's a few reasons why this is important. First and foremost, the importance is around the character. Why do you choose to compare yourself to this kind of character? Like, what about this character do you feel like is connected to you? What about this character do you feel like is similar to you? Because there's a reason why you specifically chose this character. And then, what does that say about you? And then also think about how this character processes emotions. Think about how this character lives their life. Think about some of the things that this character does. And it's not saying to literally mimic or copy this character, but I think sometimes it'll give you a better understanding of your emotions, your struggles, and things that you're possibly going through if you can see yourself within someone or something else. I think a big problem that a lot of people have is you think that you are the game instead of being a player in the game. And the game is this thing called life. Since it's your eyes, your hands, your body, there's this idea of life revolves around me. And I completely understand why you would feel like that, right? When anything happens in life, good, bad, sad, or indifferent, it feels like it's just life happening to you. But I want you to understand everyone else feels the same exact way. So who is the game? Nobody's the game. We are all players in the game. But if you still play games now, or if you play games growing up, one thing that you will learn in order to beat a lot of games, right? I grew up playing like Mario Karts and Zelda and stuff like that. You have to learn the advantages and disadvantages of your character. Every character has advantages and disadvantages. If you are one character, if you are Mario and you are trying to play like you are Zelda, then you are going to mess up because there's certain things that Zelda could do that Mario could not do. I think that was the character I'm thinking about. I know that's the name of the game. I think that's the character I'm thinking about. Anyways, there's certain things that one character could do that another character can't do. But if you keep trying to be that character, you keep on, i.e., not understanding yourself and not understanding why you do certain things and understanding that you are not the game, you are just part of the game. I think that's how you fail. I think life is about, in my opinion, creating new experiences. Yes, of course. But through those experiences, literally figuring out what do you like or what do you dislike? Like, what about life are you good at and what are the things that you are not good at? And I think the problem is if you look at yourself as being the game itself, it's very hard to figure out, well, why can this person do this to make money? And why can this person do this to get their body together? Why can they do that to get their skincare together? And all that stuff doesn't work for me. It's not supposed to work for you. You are not the game. You are just a player in the game. And very similar to every game and every player, you have to figure out what works for you. But if you look at yourself as being the game and not a character, very similar to what I said, describing yourself as a TV show or movie character, it's easy to figure out or be confused on why can't you do everything? But then think about the character you compared yourself to. Where do they work? Where do they live? What do they do for fun? Like, depending on whatever the show is. And then really ask yourself, can the character that you're comparing yourself do all the things that you say you want to do? And I'm not saying to limit yourself. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But I've often mentioned this in a lot of videos. I think social media gives us an unrealistic expectation upon ourselves. We are frustrated with ourselves when we can't do 1,000,001 things. When we can't do the workout class, plus the Pilates class, plus the hot yoga, plus make everything from scratch, plus the, be a boss babe, plus run a company, plus be a content creator, making 6 figures, 7 figures. Like, we're so frustrated because we're like, why can't I do everything? Think about that character. Can that character do everything? They probably can't. They probably have 1, maybe 2 jobs. They probably have a couple of friends. They probably have one hobby, one thing they're working on at a time, and they go through something else. That's exactly how life is for you. But I don't know. I think that's one thing to do. And it's really a creative kind of technique as well. But find a character from a TV show or a movie that you feel like you can compare yourself to, that you're very similar as, and then ask yourself, what does that say about you? Some of the struggles that you're going through, some of the emotions that you are going through. And I don't know, I think it can just, I don't know, it's just something to do. And like I said as well, just also figuring out the why that person, why did you choose that person? And ultimately figuring out how to build a better relationship with yourself comes from being able to understanding how to understand yourself from different angles, from not just day to day, I do this, I do that, from saying, well, why do I do this? And why do I do that? The next thing I want you to do is figure out where in your life are you moral licensing. So moral licensing is a psychological phenomenon in which we essentially think just because we did a good deed, we deserve to do a bad deed. Give out this license of saying because you did something good, well, this is how you should be rewarded for it. And an example of this can be you had a long week at work and you're like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to the gym this weekend. I know I said I was going to go, but I had a really long week at work. Or you had a really long day and you're like, you know what? I had a really long day. I was running around. I was doing so many errands. You know what? I think I'm going to get a bottle of wine before I go home. I deserve this thing. Essentially, you allow yourself to do something bad, or you allow yourself to do something that you normally wouldn't do because you feel like you deserve a reward for this thing. Now, you cannot completely get rid of moral licensing. And I actually think moral licensing to a certain extent is good, right? There are certain times where you just really do a lot and you feel like, you know what, I want to reward myself for doing this thing. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's how often we use moral licensing and also not recognizing that we're doing moral licensing. Because if you don't recognize that you are doing that thing, one of the biggest things I think it causes us not to be able to change our identity, because there's always a separation between us doing something good and who we truly are. We don't think we're the kind of person that runs errands all day and then goes home that cooks dinner. We don't think we're the kind of person that has a jam-packed week and then still works out. And so since we don't think we're that kind of person, we reward ourselves, kind of being like, well, I know you usually don't do this. So because you did this thing, hey, here's your reward. And the problem that becomes is we never truly start doing that thing. You never truly start running errands all day and then cooking after dinner. You never start, like I said, going to the gym and then after getting a smoothie or eating something healthy, you always feel like you have to have chocolate or pizza or something else because you feel like that's truly not you. And I don't know, I think first and foremost, one thing I realized in life is first, I would recommend having a notes app in your phone, literally labeled moral licensing, and writing a tick or a little slash so you can see how many times in a day, how many times in a week, how many times in a month that you moral license. I think the first thing is becoming aware. Where in my life and how many times do I actually moral license? And then also having that conversation with yourself. Like sometimes when I want to convince myself to do something else and I'm like, well, you recorded all these videos, you did this, you did that, you deserve to do something else. I tell myself, you're moral licensing. I hope you know you're moral licensing right now. I hope you know that you're only saying that you should do this and you should say that because you did something before. And I also tell myself, this means that this thing isn't a habit for you yet. One of the things that happens to a lot of people is like, you'll go to the gym, you will start that business, you'll do these things, and then you fall off. And we're often like, how did I fall off? Like I was going and I was doing it and I was like, how? Like I missed one time and I don't know how it happened. If you pay attention to your moral licensing, you could pay attention to where you're probably going to fall off soon. Because like I said, if you think you deserve a reward for doing something, that means that thing isn't a habit yet. For example, do you give yourself a round of applause or reward for brushing your teeth? Do you give yourself a round of applause or award for showering? No, because those are things that you already do. Those are things that are a part of your identity. So you don't feel like you deserve to get a reward for those things. But if there were things that you didn't already do, if there were things that you were trying to implement, yes, you probably would feel like you deserve a reward for those things. And so that's one thing I noticed too. Like once I can stop myself from feeling like I have to moral license, oh, you went to the gym this morning, oh, you posted the content, oh, you did the course, or you did these things. And I feel like, well, that's just who I am. That's just what I do. Oftentimes I realized I was able to build a better relationship with myself because first and foremost, I learned, going back to the previous thing, my advantages and my disadvantages. And then also at the same time too, I learned the areas in life that I need to work on. I think oftentimes we feel like, I don't know what I need to work on and I don't know what I need to get better at. And it's like, that's a great way to see where in your life are you more licensing? Where in your life do you do something that takes time, takes energy, and you feel like you deserve something for it? And then be honest with yourself. Did that thing really take time or take energy? Or were you just trying to more license for no reason? Like, oh, I woke up, so let me do so-and-so. And it's like, girl, all you did was wake up. You ain't even wake up early. You just woke up, Okay. The next thing I want you to do is, and I think this is one that's often hard for people in our society because we're taught to be so humble and we're taught to be like, oh, you should be, so grateful. And I do understand that to a certain extent. And I did mention this in a previous video, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But I want you to start describing yourself as the best in anything that you're currently working towards or going after. And the reason why I think this will help you build a relationship with yourself is figuring out why do you not feel like the best. Sometimes too, like for example, for me, if I could say I am the best self-growth content creator or I am the best YouTuber, some feelings that evokes, right? Pay attention to the feelings it evokes. Some feelings that I may evoke for me is first comparison. I'm comparing myself to people who have better content than me, whether it's their editing, whether it's their followers, whether it's, whatever the case may be. And then also sometimes too, if we're honest with ourselves, I feel like, well, no, I'm not the best because I don't post this amount of times a week. Or no, I'm not the best because I don't devote this amount of time to content or this amount of time to doing this thing. And I don't know, I think that's just one thing a lot of people can try doing. Think about something that you are currently working towards right now. Say, I'm the best. I'm the greatest when it comes to this. But really say it. Like, say it as if you feel that thing. Don't just say the words. Really, like, think about that thing and what it means to be the best. And I'm not saying that you should be like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm the best. And just have this kind of cocky, arrogant demeanor. Most people don't feel like the best. And I think the first step is recognizing that, but then figuring out, why do you not feel like the best? Is it because of outside perspective? Like I said, maybe you don't have the money. Maybe you don't have the accolades. Maybe you don't have the outside praise. Or is it because of an inner thing? Maybe you don't think you put enough time. Maybe you don't think you put in enough reps. Maybe you don't feel like you're consistent enough or you're disciplined enough when it comes to that thing. But one thing I've been working towards too when it comes to building a relationship with myself is being the best. And I think that means different things for different people, but also understanding my best has nothing to do with anybody else. My best is not a comparison to nobody else. So if I say I'm the best YouTuber, if I say that I'm the best self-growth content creator, if I say I'm the best content creator, whatever the case may be, I don't want anybody to feel anyway because I'm talking about how much work I put in. I'm talking about the discipline that I have. I'm talking about what I know I can produce and the actions that I take based upon what I want to do. But I don't know. I think that's just something I've been working on. Like, Chamia, why do you not feel like you're the best? What about you makes you feel like you're not the best when it comes to certain things? And I think those are areas in life where you can see you need to improve upon. Like I said before, it's so easy to be like, I don't know where I need to improve my life and I don't know where I need to get better. Okay, well, call yourself the best. And if you truly don't feel that way, why? Why do you not feel like the best? What do you feel like you need to work on? And primarily focus on the things you can do. Don't always focus on getting accolades and all these other things. And you know what I'm saying? Outside perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong, to a certain extent, they are. I look at them as being byproducts. I feel like if I put in the best work, then I'm just going to receive the best output from it. Like, that's how I look at it. But I don't know. It's something that I've been working towards. It's just figuring out, like, why did I feel like I'm the best? And what do I have to do? What are the next action steps I need to take into becoming the best? Because when I say the best, I can say one particular thing, but what I really mean is the best Chamia. Like, how can I become the best me? Not in comparison to nobody else, not thinking about nobody else, not worried about nobody else. How can you become the best you? And how can you confidently say, I am the best, and be honest when you truly say that thing? And the final one is spending time bored. I think boredom is something that we definitely need to bring back. I don't know. It's just something in which, like, and I've been doing this a lot lately, like just being in a car and like I don't listen to music all the time anymore. And maybe it's because I've always had this kind of personality and I like talk to myself a lot, i.e. why I have a YouTube channel. But I don't know. I think like not feeling like every single moment has to be filled with something. I do think life should be filled with experiences. I've mentioned that a lot on my channel, especially recently. I have like videos talking about hobbies and all these other things. But like every single minute does not have to be filled with you doing something. Or it doesn't have to be filled with you mixing something. Like you can just cook and like just cook and talk to yourself. You can like do your skincare. You can use the bathroom and not be on your phone. Like, I don't know. I think I've realized building a relationship with myself is really being with myself and really being with me and really having conversations with myself. And even going back to what I mentioned in the beginning, I was a child that felt like people didn't really understand me. I was a child that kind of felt like there wasn't many people in my life, and for a plethora of reasons. I don't think it was an intentional, oh, forget Chamia, we don't love Chamia, but I think there was a thing in me feeling like nobody really takes the time out to really talk to me, to really figure out like, who is really Chamia? Like outside of being a daughter, outside of being a granddaughter, a niece, a cousin, like everything. I just felt like I didn't have that. Like of someone just really getting to know me and just really letting me talk and ramble and say my emotions and my feelings. And going back to what I said, like be that for yourself. Talk to yourself. It's honestly great. It's very eye-opening. Like I said, I've been doing it for so long, but also doing it intentionally. Like, okay, of course, we all have inner thoughts. We have thousands, tens of thousands of thoughts a day. But I'm saying more so like literally on the car ride home, not playing music, talking to yourself. I'm talking about the times in your life where you usually fill it with a podcast or a video, or you get what I'm saying, something else, really just being like, I'm just going to talk to myself. Like, I'm just going to do this boredly. Like, and even sometimes too, like I said, it could be with doing something else. Maybe it's you at the gym and you're like, you know what, for the first 15 minutes, I'm actually not going to listen to anything. Or 30 minutes, I'm just going to talk to myself. Or maybe you're cooking, or maybe you're folding clothes, or maybe you're cleaning the house. Like, instead of always feeling like you have to fill that time with something, just allow yourself to kind of feel bored and just like see where that takes you mentally. I feel like it's intriguing. Some of us may talk to ourselves, some of us may not. Like, I don't know. I think it's just an intriguing thing to really play with boredom, which is kind of like a paradox, play with boredom. But I think figuring out what does that look like for you, I think can be very introspective on trying to build a relationship with yourself and really just ultimately understanding you. So thank you guys for watching my video. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. When I say y'all comment, I tell you all the time, y'all comment anything. Unicorn emoji, fire emoji. I don't care. Any kind of interaction is great interaction. Also, don't forget to go on below and follow my TikTok. I recently did create a new TikTok and I will be posting on there. I guess it's kind of like a behind the scenes. It's just gonna be like really me. It might not be self-growth. It might be a little bit of self-growth. I don't know. It's just gonna be me talking, rambling, my life, TikToks, whatever. Also, I am starting back up my monthly newsletter, so go below to subscribe for that. Thank y'all and have a great one.